We've all heard of the benefits of compounding interest, but what about the perils? You know, I think it's important to talk about both the pros and the cons, because compounding cuts both ways. So we're going to start today's video talking about the benefits, but we're going to end it talking about something that's every bit as important, which are the perils and the dangers of compounding. So I'm going to start off, as I said, with the positives, the power of compounding interest. And for that, I'm going to use an example. Let's say you had a friend that said, you know what, Azul, I'm going to give you a choice. I'm feeling generous today. I'm going to give you a choice. I'll either give you $1 million in cash, or you can have this magical penny of mine. And the magical penny doubles in value every day for 30 days. Which would you rather have? And I got to tell you, my intuition would say, you know, and I know the power of compounding. My intuition would say, you know, a penny's pretty small, not a lot of money. It's going to increase in value dramatically, but I don't think it's going to get to $1 million. But you know, when you put pen to paper, that's not what the results show. A penny doubling every day for 30 days, believe it or not, grows to $5.2 million. Now, both were good options. And if anybody out there wants to give me that choice, I'll take whichever one you want to give me. But surprisingly, and this just shows the power of compounding and the power of time when it comes to compounding. So let me quickly go through a couple numbers with you on this magical penny, right? So the first week, obviously, you start with a penny. Day 2, it's worth 2 cents, then 4 cents, then 8 cents, and 16 cents. And it ends the first week being worth $1.28. And it ends week 2 being worth $82. So it's got a long way to go, right? But it catches up pretty quickly. At the end of week 3, it's $10,500. Now, still got a long way to go to get to $1 million. But you know what? At the end of week 4, it's worth $1.3 million. So kind of close, but 4 times 7 is 28. So it's got 2 more days to double. So it goes from 1.3 million to 2.6 to $5.2 million. So I would have left a lot of money on the table if I had taken the $1 million in cash. Again, I'd be happy with either. And so this, I like this example because it shows it's not enough to just compound. It takes time. You've got to let compounding do its work over time. And I'm going to give you another example that maybe is even more startling. But before I go there, and then don't forget, we're going to talk about the perils at the end of the video. Before I go there, if you're enjoying this content, if you like my videos, do me a favor, hit the like button, leave me a comment. It really does help other people find our channel, this channel. I say our channel because we're building a nice community here. Okay, the next positive example I want to get before I go into the perils of compounding. The next example is Warren Buffett. And here's some things that people don't know. And I didn't know this either, right? I mean, I did some research. I mean, I know Warren Buffett's been very successful. I know he's a great investor. I'm a student of his. I actually had a chance to meet him when I was 27 or 28 years old. If you want to see that video, just look up here. I did a video on the lessons, the main lesson. I got to ask him a question. I'm not a shy guy. So that video goes over the advice that he shared with me when I got to meet with him. But continuing on, you know, when Buffett was 30 years old, and Warren Buffett is 90 now, so that was a long time ago. That was 60 years ago. But when Buffett was 30 years old, he was worth $1 million. And, you know, $1 million back then was worth a heck of a lot more. In fact, let's see, I wrote it down. It's worth just under $10 million in today's dollars. So he was successful, right? Having $10 million today, we'd all take that. That's a nice situation, but not crazy wealthy, right? In his track record, he's got a good track record. It's not the best track record in the world, but it's a darn good one. He's compounded his returns 22% a year. And so if you look at him when he was 30 years old with $1 million, if you compound that at 22% a year, by the time he was 50 years old, he was worth $300 million. By the time he was 65 years old, when a lot of people retired, he was worth $3 billion. Now, At the end of 2019, he was worth $85 billion. So looking back again at 65, when, you know, for him, that's full retirement age, when he could, in fact, he probably did apply for Social Security. So he's worth 85 billion now. 82 billion of his net worth came after he was 65 years old and could file for Social Security. And that shows you just the power of time, right? Buffett's a good investor, but I think as much of his success is due to the fact that he stayed in the game so long, and, you know, he's still alive, frankly. You know, he's got good genes. He's not the healthiest eater. He goes to McDonald's every day for breakfast, I understand. He's an investor in Dairy Queen, so I've seen him at Dairy Queen in different videos many times. So, but it shows the power of time. Now, how does it cut both ways, right? Again, if you haven't given me a like yet, I'm imploring you, give me a like now. So anyways, how does it cut both ways? What's the downside of this? And the downside of this is, you know, what happens if your investments don't keep up with inflation? Now compounding is working against you, right? Your money is worth less and less every year. And if you lose 3.5%, if you underperform inflation by 3.5%, let's say you're 60 and you retire, or let's say that you get to retire early, just for my example here. Let's say you retire at 45. Well, if you trail inflation in your investments, and you could say, well, Azul, how am I going to do that? Well, you know, there's a lot of people that keep their money in the bank because they think it's safe. And it's pretty easy to trail inflation by 3.5% if you keep your money in a checking account that pays almost nothing, right? 1/10 of 1%. Do you know how long it takes your money to double at 1/10 of 1%? 720 years is how long it would take to double. So I'm not old enough to plan on that. So, but banks don't pay us much. It feels secure because the balance doesn't go up and down, but I would argue it's a risky investment. So if you retire at 45, just so my math works out here, in 20 years, you would have half of your purchasing power. In 40 years, this 45-year-old would now be 85. He or she would have 1/4 of their buying power, right? So it does cut both ways. And so I want to talk about I want to talk about how time can work against you, and really what risk really truly is. Is risk, you watch the news, you're on the internet, and you see that the market was up 5% last month, down 5% the next month. Is that risk? Is that monthly? Is that daily, weekly volatility? Is that risk? Or is risk you slowly losing the purchasing power of your investments over time? So I want you to really think about that and internalize that, because too many people think that they're de-risking their portfolio, when actually for me, the warning signs, the warning bells are going off saying, you know, this is a risky thing to do. So that is the peril of compounding. I want you to use compounding so that it works for you, not against you. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, as the kids say, thumbs for likes and subs for love. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And leave me comments. I do read the comments. I respond to a couple dozen at least every day. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, we're only young once. Let's use our time wisely. Here's the spring dogs out enjoying the day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.